Hello, everybody. I'm Kipp, Director of the Transportation Distribution and Logistics Institute at the Community College of Baltimore County. Oh, and that's not that's not Mike.
Hi, guys. Now, clearly, I'm not Mike Singer from the Baltimore Chesapeake Shipwatchers, the community manager of the local maritime advocacy group. Mike is on vacation with his lovely wife, and guy deserves a break. But my name's Christine Allen, and I'm from industry, and I'm just also the research department.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the cat's out of the bag, everybody. There really is a research department, and so Christine is going to fill in for us this week while Mike is out on vacation. So I wish him the best of luck. I know that he might be nervous that I might not be able to hold the fort down, but he should have a good bit of confidence here that the research department is keeping me in line. So that's.
And I'll try not to rock the boat too much, everybody. Okay, so
There you go.
I'm gonna try to get some of Mike's puns in if I can.
And you got your coffee mug, and yeah, okay, all right. Well, we'll see how this goes. So
I'm gonna try my best. Please be kind. If you're watching this, please hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that little bell to be alerted for when we get new podcasts, because we are trying to record this while Mike's away. This is important, and I'm just glad to be helping out. So please hit that subscribe button for everybody so that you can be alerted whenever we do record a new podcast. So, yeah. You usually start off with some port metrics, right? So without Mike here, that's going to be on you.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll go ahead and get into Mike's shipping updates. He covers all of the truck transactions that are coming out of Seagirt terminals, and so this week we did see a little bit of a dip in some of those numbers for this week. The average daily truck transactions averaged out to 3,522. So 3,522 is the daily average. The first part of the week, it was pretty strong going through Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday it kind of tapered off, and so I don't know. I don't know if there was some gate closures, or I haven't had a chance to take a look at any of the ship schedules to see if there was anything that that would warrant what was happening with that. However, last week the daily average was 3355, so it is 200 truck transactions on average more this week. So I'm curious to continue to watch. There's so much volatility in the market right now. So it's kind of hard to really kind of pinpoint one specific issue that's happening with it, but it was a trend up a little bit higher from last week.
Okay.
So,
you guys have also been following the Pride of Baltimore II sailing ship.
Yeah.
Can you give us an update about that?
Yeah. So for if you haven't heard, the Pride of Baltimore II, it's a locally based sailing ship. They are participating in the Tall Ships America Challenge this summer. And so they are going to be going up into the Great Lakes throughout the summer with a number of different stops. I believe that there was a social media post where they said they were docked in Nova Scotia, but they were going underway to their first stop, which is Brockville, Ontario. So I actually went and went to their websites, and I want to pull that up. So the Pride of Baltimore is actually tracking themselves on their own website. So I have their website here, and this is pride2.org. And they have actually taken their location with marine traffic and their website and have embedded it within their website. So if you want to know at any given time live vessel data, this actually looks like it's about 3 hours ago. So keep in mind, they have to have a signal to be able to transmit that GPS or that GIS location. But you can actually go straight to their website, pride2.org, and see where they're at underway. So this is off the coast of Nova Scotia, and they're about to go into the St. Lawrence River and the St. Lawrence Canal. So that's kind of neat to have that level of that level of tracking that you. So if those are anybody who's interested in the Pride, go to their website and let's take a look at that throughout the summer and see where they're at. So now the Pride of Baltimore is going to have to go through the St. Lawrence Canal system, the seaway system there. And I don't know if anybody is familiar with it, but the Pride posted a really neat schematic or line drawing of what they've got to do in order to um, transit the river system and get into the Great Lakes. I don't know if anybody really knows that it's not all flat. They've got different levels that the river system and the different lakes are positioned at, and they have to use a system of canals and locks in order to adjust to the different water levels. So where they're at currently is out here in the river part. If you can see the mouse here, they're way up here, so they have quite a bit of distance to come down into the river, and then they have 4 different locks that they have to go through first in order to get to Brockville, which is approximately right here where my arrow is at. So I'm kind of interested to see what. I know that they've got some staff on the vessel who are doing some live recordings and kind of a diary of each day of their transactions. I'm really curious to see if they have some lock pictures or lock videos to as going through that process. That is kind of a bucket, one of the marks on my bucket list. I'd like to go through a canal lock one day, but to be able to see that and see how the water tables move up and down in order for that vessel to go through that system. So it was pretty neat to see this, and that they were trying to educate folks as they're going through the summer. So
yeah, I mean, most people really don't understand all the engineering that goes behind this part of it, so that's really neat.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Absolutely. So remember, they're in Brockville, Ontario, June the 20th through the 22nd, and then on to Toronto, Duluth, however you want to say that, Boyne City in July, and then going into August, Sturgeon Bay, Detroit, Buffalo, and Erie, Pennsylvania. So those are going to be your stops for the upcoming summer.
That's really cool. Thanks for keeping us posted on that. It looks like there were 2 Navy ships that came in. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Mike had sent me some information on this, and we'll probably have to go and catch back up with him and what all was happening, because there was some logistical moves. The U.S. Navy ship Gary Gordon, that's a logistics naval ship. It came into the Annapolis anchorage today from Canton Street. So it had been docked there for a little bit, and they're moving that around. The Gordon is part of the Military Sealift Command, and its role is to help move dry, bulk, and containerized cargo, as well as RoRo materials for the military. Now, so this is a multi-purpose ship, and I have a picture of it here. So yeah, I have a picture of the Gordon here, and what I think is interesting, with this particular ship, it is a canned photo. It's not one of the ones that was taken from this week. But to be able to see this particular vessel, you see there's cranes on it. You see a space there for, it looks like a helicopter pad, and you've got a ramp on the back side of it. This is a multi-purpose ship that allows for any type of cargo, whether it has to be rolled on or rolled off. If it's in a container and they use the cranes in order to move the containers onto the vessel and either store it below or on top, or if it's bulk or break bulk items, those are items that can't fit into a container, but they still have to, they're too big to be handled by an individual, then they'll use the cranes to move those bulk or break bulk items. So it's a multi-purpose ship. The Navy uses it to help transport all of their materials and consumables. They're things that they need for whatever theaters they're operating in overseas. It can help move troops in certain cases, but also keep in mind at 24 knots, there's a specific purpose for what this vessel does. And if they're needing to move military personnel very quickly, that's not going to be on the ship here. You're sticking them on a cargo plane or something like that. Um, so there is some movements back and forth with the Gordon right now. And the U.S. Navy ship Charlton has also come into the port of Baltimore, and it's currently berthed next to the Pomeroy that we talked about in the last episode. And so the Charlton is a Watson class, and here's a picture of it also here. And they look kind of similar because they have some of this, some similar roles, but they may have different configurations for what was maybe needed at the time that it was made, or maybe there are new military products that have to be deployed, and so you may have to have a different vessel to be able to accommodate what those sizes are. But this is a Watson class vehicle cargo ship for the military sea lift command program. So we've got these vessels in here. We have these vessels all the time here in the Port of Baltimore, stationed for either military theater operations, or in some cases maybe it's humanitarian relief if it's needed. But these vessels are staged with a skeleton crew so that at any point that they become activated within 72 to 96 hours, they can be underway, supporting whatever those initiatives are. So that's those are some of those transactions. So if you saw some military vessels in the port this week, those are the two that were moving around, and that's what was happening with that. So this week in the port, you and I actually had a field trip. We went out to the Women's Traffic and Transportation Club of Baltimore, their June meeting.
Yeah, so it was the last meeting before the summer break. This year, we had a lot going on in this meeting as well. We had Josh Messinger, who has also been on the podcast, a friend of ours, give a speech. We also awarded the Person of the Year, Rachel Brown, very well deserved, and I was able to give a scholarship. Women's Traffic and Transportation Club gives a scholarship every year. This year was a $3,000 award to a lovely young lady, Lily Chotto, who is going to the University of Maryland, double majoring. I mean, she's just a delight. I look forward to seeing more of her. It was just a great honor to meet her and her father, and to get to know her and everything. And then, like I said, the event itself was just lovely. Held at Buon Appetito, and up there.
It was up at Essex, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. We have our new members. We have our new board as well. So congratulations to Katrina Jones, a friend of yours as well.
Yeah.
First African American president of the club. Club's over 100 years old, so it's a wonderful club. We do a lot of things, a lot of outreach. Thank you for the podcast, for always promoting us. But it's something that I've been very grateful to be a part of for the past several years. Been on their scholarship committee. It's a lovely group of ladies, but there's also some men. So please, and we all do a lot of outreach, a lot of speakers, and it's just a really good club to participate in. We would love to see any podcast members. We're also trying to get Kipp on as a member, but working on that. But yes, Kipp was there, and we were able to hear Josh speak about. He spoke about the Dolly and his efforts with what he does as a seafarer, and it was just a really nice event.
Yeah, it was neat to catch up with Josh for a little bit, and he was giving me some updates as to what was happening with the seafarers while we were eating dinner, and then he did get up and speak about the. What's the current status of the Dolly crew? Because there are still members of the crew here who are waiting to complete the litigation requirements put on by the state. So that's he did give us some updates on that. So it was interesting to hear some of the stories and some of the efforts that the seafarers are involved with trying to help those folks who come into the port, maybe just for a couple of hours, and they may have some health or medical needs, or they may have some religious needs, or they may just have some personal needs for, hey, I need to go to the store and get some some personal effects, and then they help with all of that. So it's helpful for him to share his message to everybody so that they knew, what the role of the Seafarers Center is here. But how else we can all help? And he said that there was on their website is a list of needs and ways to help. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you visit his website, and I'll put a link for the Baltimore International Seafarers Center here on the page here.
Yes, please do. They do so much, and I know that he was struggling right now. You mentioned that his vans need some work and things like that. So it's a really worthwhile charity as well. Please help where you can. Did you know that one of the volunteer things that Kipp and I did also, we had the Cub Scouts back when you were doing this. We made care packages for one of the crews.
Yeah.
And, we'd given them each also a deck of cards. Josh came over to me and he said, the sailors couldn't play the decks of cards because the captain was standing on the decks.
Oh, this is what. Oh. All right, Mike, you got your zing. Okay, I don't know if that was planned or not, but that's.
I've been dying for that one.
Okay.
He walked right into that. Okay.
Yeah. All right, that's So that was it. That was a good time at the Women's Traffic Club meeting on Wednesday evening.
So we just wrapped up the Women's Traffic Club with a zinger. You want me to talk about the Coast Guard changing of the guard? Okay.
Yeah, I would, the way that I would go for my suggestion would be.
All right, back to the seriousness on the podcast. Okay.
So go and if you would say something like, "Did the Coast Guard have an announcement this week or something like that?" Okay. And that's all.
All right. Sorry to catch you off your game there, Kipp, but back on podcast stuff. Did the Coast Guard make an announcement or something like that this week?
Yeah, actually they did. The Coast Guard Yard. So down at Curtis Bay, we have a Coast Guard base. They do. They have a shipyard there, and the shipyard has been around for many years. They had their changing of the guards. Let me start over. They had the changing of the guard of the commanding officer of the Coast Guard Yard. So Captain David Obermeyer has retired. He was the 44th commanding officer of the yard. He was actually in. He and his daughter were in the little podcast interview on the street video I did for the National Maritime Day, and he and his daughter were standing there, and so he did a little quick interview for us. But great individual. He's always been supportive of port operations, helping not only with the apprenticeships that take place down there at the Coast Guard Yard with some of the Baltimore City High School students who are coming in and learning those trades. Down there at the yard, they have 623 civilian and military employees. So it's not all military enlisted folks who are down there. There's quite a bit of civilian employees that operate within the yard's footprint, doing a lot of the technical skills. Each one of the commanding officers of the yard have a certain period of time that they are there. And Captain Obermeyer has reached his retirement point. So Captain Emily Tharp has assumed the command of the Coast Guard Yard as the 45th commanding officer. She previously served as the industrial manager of the yard, so she's very familiar with not only their processes and how they operate, but she's been in that facility for quite a bit. So I have a good suspicion that the yard will be in good hands. Rear Admiral Amy Grable presided over the ceremony, so that's who you see here in the pictures here. So they made that announcement today. So we're looking forward to getting to know Captain Tharp as she takes command of the Coast Guard Yard.
That's a fun picture.
Yeah. It looks like they were
Enjoying themselves.
enjoying themselves here. Absolutely. It's not, it seems like good times. So.
Okay. Isn't this about the time where you guys talk about upcoming events?
Yes. Yeah. So for the upcoming events, today is Flag Day. So here for our history segment, I'll talk a little bit about Flag Day. But also this week, the Francis Scott Key buoy will be placed out in the Baltimore Harbor. The Coast Guard pulls it out every year in the wintertime to go get it cleaned up and repainted and secured, and it gets placed out the week of Flag Day out in the harbor. So we're going to see if we can't get some pictures of that and be able to showcase that here. So that's coming up this week. Mike also has his Woodwind Sailings on History Mondays. His next event coming up. It's scheduled for June the 30th, and he always tells us that those tickets will be available the week prior. So I would imagine that he would be broadcasting the links to go purchase those tickets here in the Facebook group and out on social media. So keep a look at that. June the 30th is coming up with his History Mondays on the Woodwind Sailings out of Annapolis. I've also noticed that the John W. Brown and the nuclear ship Savannah both have some dates for tours, events. I think I saw that their STEAM school coming up in the fall is already booked solid, and they don't have any more spaces for that. So that's exciting to hear. I know that there's a lot of people who are interested in participating in the STEAM school. But go take a look at their websites and look at their opportunities to engage with maybe you might be able to get a tour in those or be able to participate in some of those events. So those are the upcoming events for right this minute in the Port of Baltimore history segment. So I talked about Flag Day. It is, and I guess that there's probably a little more sensitivity to the flag, because we are Baltimore. We have the Francis Scott Key connection, but the Flag Day is a holiday celebrated on June the 14th in the United States. It commemorates the adoption of the flag on June 14th, 1777. So it goes back that long. By a resolution of the Second Continental Congress. And now I got to sit there and think about my fifth grade, U.S. history, Continental Congress. All right, so they had, so that's when the Flag Day got started. The resolution stated that the flag of the 13 U.S. states be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, and that the Union be 13 stars with a white and a blue field representing a new constellation. So that was how the flag was identified in that resolution. So Flag Day itself was first proposed in 1861 to rally support for the Union side of the American Civil War. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson issued a presidential proclamation that designated June 14th as Flag Day. So it was officially established by an act of U.S. Congress in 1949. June 14th, 1937, Pennsylvania became the first state to celebrate Flag Day as a state holiday. And so that's where you started to see some actual celebrations around it. Believe it or not, Flag Day is not an official federal holiday. The federal law leaves it to the discretion of the president to officially proclaim that observance, which I found that pretty interesting. I didn't realize
they
that.
They can pick and choose.
Yeah, or there is a clause within that proclamation that allows them to pick and choose which ones they want. So it's just an option. So the Title 36 in the Code of Federal Regulations states that is the official statute of Flag Day. Now, the U.S. Army also celebrates its birthday on June 14th, and that's why you're seeing some of the celebrations around the U.S. So that's a little history nugget on Flag Day, and it's a little closer to home with us and our involvement with the Star Spangled Banner, Francis Scott Key, Fort McHenry, and how the flag is got a connection here to the Port of Baltimore. So that's all that I have for today. It's a light.
It is a light thing. So in closing, any suggestions, please email Mike at BaltimoreShipwatchers.com. Don't email us. And we have a Facebook group with over 16,000 people on it, and a website with the live stream camera, the podcast, and all other helpful links. Mike's website is very, very useful. Baltimore Shipwatchers.
BaltimoreShipwatchers.com. That is correct. All right.
And, you can find us on the Twix, YouTube, Instagram, Reddit. All the social medias, like the hip kids, because we are not hip.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? One other thing you guys never talked about?
So,
why are boats not weirded out by other boats and their activities? Because they respect whatever floats each other's boats.
Mike, when are you getting off of your vacation?
But
all right, I see what's happening here. You guys have all the jokes today. All right.
I have to try.
All right, we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to listen to the audio version of this, yes. So that is the episode for today. How do you think you did here, filling in research department for the for Mike?
I tried to be helpful. I tried to channel some of Mike for you. Poor guy. But I also have my shirt. I had to do him some justice. He also has merch on his website, guys. So please make sure you do that. And a percentage still goes to the seafarers.
That's correct.
Yes. Yeah. So, but no, I'm just trying. Again, this is what you guys do is important, and I do try to support. And I'm very excited and I'm very honored to fill in. So hopefully, like I said, everybody is nice and kind, and just know we're trying. And I am behind in my research. I'm working on that. But yes, I am the research department. Joke. So
thanks for filling in for Mike and helping us out with it for this week. All right, so that's about it for this week. We do have some things coming up, but with the key buoy, so keep a look on that. And Mike and I will be back in the next episode. All right, let's go ahead and count it off. Let's see if we can do it. Do you think we can do it?
Okay. Well, I mean, you and I, sometimes do say each other's sentences, and we have that jinx factor going on. So we'll see.
Don't mess me up. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Happy ship watching. All right, everybody. Have a good week. Thanks for watching, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.